Hi, I'm Lexi. We are Team 4, and I am going to talk about first my Excel spreadsheet. I started off with the Taj Mahal, and I kept all of my production around 3,500 to 3,800 to make sure that all of the beginning inventory for each of the months was pretty close to about 3,000. And then for Alley Cat, I tried to keep most of my production for the beginning of the year towards September. I tried to keep it upwards of 7,000, 6,500 to about 8,000 is what I kept it close to make sure that I kept the production high for Alley Cat, and then for Edgar Ale, I kept that one lower. That way they made more money and it raised the EBT. I worked to keep my EBT above 130,000, and I ended up with about 138,097 to end up for that. And I am working on the transactions and reporting for the production, and I will pass it off to Patrick.
Good. Oh, hello. My name is Patrick, and basically, I'm a part of Team 4, and my role is including reports, transactions to monitor decision-making process, and safety checks. So for Taj Mahal, from January to April, I kept my production as 3,000, and then May to July, I bumped it up, or no, May to August, I bumped it up to 3,300 instead, which I saw great growth. And then I bumped it down to September to 3,000, and then October to December bumped it up to 4,000. And for Alley Cat, January to May was 5,000 instead of the starting 3,000, and then 6,500 in June, 6,000 in July, and 5,000 in August. Sorry. And September 4,500 or 4,000. Sorry. October 4,500, November 4,500, and December 4,000. And with all the leading production, I got over 130,000 with 146,713.
Okay, I'm Will, and this is my Scenario 100 report. For Taj Mahal, I decided to keep a consistent 3,000 units of production from January all the way through September. And then I decided for months October, November, December, those later months, to up at about 1,000 each month, up to 4. For Alley Cat, I chose to kind of scatter my quantities just to maximize our overall EBT in the end. I started with 5,000 and went up to about 6,000 for the next 3 months, all the way to April. Then May through August, I took it up another 1,000 to 7,000 and brought it down to 3,000 once in September and back to 2,000 for the remainder of the year. And Edgar Ale, I started strong with about 3,000, a little under, and continued to decrease and decline in production throughout the beginning and intermediate part of the year, upping it to nearly four almost 5,000 for September through December, ultimately giving me a EBT of 165,000, which is the largest overall EBT of our entire group, and this is going to be the representation of the plan that we have for tomorrow's scenario. We're going to use this report as a loose guide for tomorrow's rundown. Now I'm going to take us over to Skirmish Sim to enter our first 8 production orders. We're going to select scenario. We're going to go with scenario 100, our crust basic. We're then going to do test run 2 because this is our second run on this scenario. We're going to go over to production, create production orders, and we're going to actually we're just going to pop right back over to our spreadsheet. Like I said, we're going to use this as a reference. So we see that we're going to use 3,000 alley cats in the first month of January, but 1240 does not evenly go into 3,000, so we're going to have to decide to go over or under a little bit on that. Let's go back. And team, what are we thinking? I think we can go over just a bit. So we're going to do 3 alley cat orders to start off with, along with, hop back over to Excel. Probably over as well for Taj Mahal. So another 3. Leaving just 2 for Ed Grill. And I can now stop sharing my screen. And this wraps up our team meeting scenario 100 for business 1750. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.